Omakana Timaramlasya Chananjanasnaka Saksvanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chitchitayam Anabhistam Staptam Yena Bhutale Svamurpakadayam Mayam Dadati Svapadam Tikam Vandeyam Shiro Shiyuda Padkamanam Shiyom Vaishnavansha Shirupam Jagajatam Sakanaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Saudutam Bhajana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagalita Shivishakam Vitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jyotpate Kopesha Kopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchna Gauri Radhe Vrindavaneshwar Vishvana Sutadevi Pranamama Hari Vakha Kalpta Visha Kripasana Vaivishya Patnapavana Bhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namani. Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pachani. Nirvishesha Sinhavadi Paskachani Desatani. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Nana Chastra Vichayana Nipuna. Sadharma Samstapakam Lokanamitakarino Tribhuvane Manya Sharanyakaram Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Matalikam Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujigo Shri Jiva Gopalakam. I offer my respectful obeisance to the six Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Das Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing and studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus they are honored all over the three worlds, because they are worth taking shelter of, because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental love and service of Radha and Krishna. So we continue our study of the summary study of the Nectar of Devotion compiled by Srila Prabhupada, based on Srila Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Devotion. We are discussing the principles of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti from chapter 2 till 16. And today we are discussing chapter 10, Techniques of Hearing and Remembering. And the first paragraph is on hearing. Hearing of or Shravanam. Shravanam. In this paragraph, or in this section on hearing, Shravanam, Srila Prabhupada discusses three types of Shravanam. The first is Nama Shravanam, Charita Shravanam, and Hrunadi Shravanam. That so Srila Prabhupada writes, giving oral reception to the transcendental vibrations, one can quickly become purified and cleansed in heart. It enables one to enter into devotional service and understand Krishna consciousness. So how are we entering in devotional service? By hearing Srila Prabhupada says. How are we becoming purified in heart? That's by hearing. How can we understand Krishna? By hearing. That so we have these three types of in hearing, and the first type that Srila Prabhupada discussed is Nama Shravanam. Nama Shravanam means hearing the holy names. Charita Shravanam means hearing the pastimes of the Lord. Gunadi Shravanam means hearing about the qualities of the Lord. All Shravanam with different types also, and it are not specific sections here, but you derive the types out of Srila Prabhupada's section on hearing, but that's based on the original Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu, from Rupa Goswami, which counts about 2,000 verses. That and there also these quotes, because Rupa Goswami quotes from scriptures, gives evidence, and he gives evidence of these three types. But now evidence on the first time, the Nam Shravanam, hearing the names, and he states from the Garuda Purana. So he writes, Srila Prabhupada writes or translates this statement from the Garuda Purana as follows. In the state of conditioned life in the material world, the state of conditioned life in the material world, we are all in that state. It's just like that of a man lying unconscious, having been bitten by a snake. So we are, spiritually, we are unconscious. We identify with the body, we forget about ourselves. Forgetting ourselves completely. It's spiritual amnesia. That's what we are suffering from. So this is because both such unconscious states can be ended by the sound of a mantra. So if one is bitten by a snake, it can be back to life again by mantras. There are specialists in that. My Gurmaj Bhakti Charan said he was in Mayapur and a devotee got bitten by a snake, and they went to a person who by mantras could get out the poison again. And my Gurmaj, he was reciting these mantras, and he saw the black poison coming out of the skin. Interesting, just by sound. But by sound, you sleep. That if you are in deep sleep, one may come and wake you up. but you can wake someone up by shouting, "Wake up!" And that sound, by sound, he wakes up. But the sound to wake up the soul and awareness of the soul is the holy name. And that brings us from this spiritual unconscious state. Surely we become purified and we become conscious. Oh, I'm not his body. I've always lived for this body, and now I know I'm not his body. I worked all my life to get so many things, and it's all for nothing. The body has to die. So you wake up gradually. It's a gradual process, but we must be willing to give up our attachment. This is another quote that so this is from the Bhagavatam 4:29-40. My dear king, one should stay at a place where the great acharyas, holy teachers, speak about the transcendental activities of the Lord, and one should give oral reception to the nectarian river flowing from the moon-like faces of such great personalities. If someone eagerly continues to hear such transcendental sounds, then certainly he will become freed from all material hunger, thirst, fear, and lamentation, as well as all illusions of material existence. So, the more we hear the holy name with attention, the more we are injected, the more our spiritual consciousness becomes revived. The point is we are injected to the mentality for material enjoyment, and the more the more we are infected by that, the more we become unconscious of the spiritual reality. Just by hearing names of Krishna, it becomes revived, our original consciousness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommends that simply by hearing from authorities who are actually the devotees of the Lord, we have to hear from the devotees of the Lord. It's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that a materialistic person can give up his material hankerings only by becoming situated in Krishna consciousness. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita there is the higher energy and the lower energy, the spiritual energy, the material energy. The more we become absorbed in the spiritual energy, the more we forget the lesser pleasures. So one should be grateful if one is given the opportunity to relish the activities of the superior energy by hearing Krishna's names, by hearing the Bhagavatam. So then Charita Shravanam, this is the hearing of the Bhagavatam. So one should give reception to the nectarian river flowing from the moon-like faces of such great personalities. Then one becomes free from all miseries, just by hearing the Bhagavatam. And Gunadi Shravanam, hearing about the qualities of the Lord. That it's important to hear about the qualities of the Lord. That helps to cultivate our relationship with Krishna. It's like watering the Bhakti Lata beach, the crepe of devotion. Now, this is the first section of this section on hearing and remembering. And the next section is about Tat Kripakshanam, expecting the Lord's mercy. And there this verse is quoted that Tatena kampam susamekshamo punjan naivat maketam vipakamrit. Vakva purvir vidodana mastej vetya mukti padesha sataya bak. One who just continues to accept the reactions of his past misdeeds and undergoes the suffering, that accepting it, yes, it's a reaction to my own activities, I deserve it. And Krishna gives me only a little of the reaction. So I'm so grateful that if we accept suffering with that understanding and mood, then the verse says yes, then we will attain liberation. It's our claim to get liberation. So this statement, this verse, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, this statement of Srimad Bhagavatam should be the guide of all devotees. That's quite a statement. That whatever suffering we have, we must think of that verse, Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said that are we doing that? You suffer and you think of that verse. Then you understand why you are suffering. And we think of Krishna and thank him for his mercy. So then this is the official translation, better than my explanation. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds and offering you respectful obeisance within his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So we get reactions. If we don't make new reactions and we hear about Krishna, all our unmanifest reactions, they are gone. Only a little is left. That's called the finishing up of material activities. If we finish up our material activities, there's no more birth. So Srila Prabhupada writes, when impediments arise, one should simply think of Krishna and expect his mercy. That spirit is required, he said. We accept the possibility just to engage in devotional service as Krishna's mercy. So we want Krishna's mercy, yes, but we never demand it, whatever Krishna wants. The next section is about remembrance of Krishna. And there, Rupa Goswami quotes a verse from the Vishnu Purana. Simply by remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all living entities become eligible for all kinds of auspiciousness. Therefore, let me always remember the Lord who is unborn and eternal. Because we remember the Lord, our heart is cleansed. Such a potent process that a devotee has knowledge of Krishna's subtle energies, subtle material energies, and his spiritual energies. And this is spiritual potency. It destroys all these reactions, cleanses the heart. What happens when the heart is cleansed? We become attracted to hearing. We become attracted to remember Krishna. And then it becomes spontaneous, surely. There is another quote here from Rupa Goswami, from the Padma Purana. Let me offer my respectful obeisance unto the Supreme Lord Krishna. Because if someone remembers him, either at the time of death or during his span of life, he becomes free from all sinful reactions. So that's remembering. And now we have the last section, and that's a long section on meditation. And Rupa Goswami speaks about 4 types of meditation. Namadhyam, Rupadhyam, Kritadhyam, Sevadhyam. Yeah. So meditation means that one goes so deep that one is unaware from anything else. One's focus becomes very focused, that and everything, one becomes aware of anything else. That's meditation. It requires a peaceful mind. That's otherwise one cannot meditate. That one must be on the platform of Nishta to meditate constantly. We can do it before Nishta, but short. And then our mind wants to do something else. But when one attains Ruchi taste, one becomes absorbed easily. But that's the problem in Kali Yuga. Payanalpayus Sabya Kalavasmin Chukemana Manda Simana Mateo Montebar Yupaduta. Everyone in Kali Yuga is disturbed. Manda Simana. One is very lazy, especially in terms of self-realization, and is short-sighted. That sees only the moment of enjoyment. So difficult in this age. In Satya Yuga, that everyone must meditation, because everyone was in a mode of goodness. In this age, everyone is in passion and ignorance. But to meditate means these 4 things. Engage the mind in thinking of the form of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord, the activities of the Lord, or the service of the Lord. Do 4 kinds of meditation. Meditation must always be on the form of Vishnu, the scripture says. And from the Nrsimha Purana. Meditation focusing on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been accepted as transcendental and beyond the experience of material pain and pleasure. So you become completely absorbed in meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. By such meditation, even one who is grossly miscreant can be delivered from the sinful reactions of his life. Another quote from Vishnu Dharma. Persons who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness and will remember the transcendental qualities of the Lord become free from all the reactions to sinful activities. And after being so cleansed, cleansed, they are fit to enter into the kingdom of God. If our heart is cleansed, we can meditate on Krishna, and we can do that constantly. Then we are ready to go back to God. That's not easy. Padma Purana. A person who is always engaged in meditation on the sweet pastimes and wonderful activities of the Lord surely becomes free from all material contamination. Seeing the Lord face to face. That now there is an interesting story here that from the Brahma-Vaivarta Purana, but before going in that so there are 4 times of meditation. There's Nama Dhyan. So completely absorbed, becoming absorbed in the holy name and forget everything. That it requires going internal. That there's Rupa Dhyan. Rupa Dhyan means that one meditates on the form of the Lord. It is said when Srila Prabhupada was a toddler, 5 years old, that regularly his parents brought him to the Mulik's temple, where they were worshipping the beautiful dates of Radha Govinda. I've seen them in Calcutta. Very beautiful. That these beautiful deities. And it is said Srila Prabhupada, he was just a toddler, and he could stand there for hours just gazing at Radha Govinda. Interesting. That there was a reporter or someone asked Srila Prabhupada, at what age did you become God conscious or Krishna conscious? Srila Prabhupada replied, I don't remember a time that I was not Krishna conscious. That was his reply. Interesting. He's also meditating on Kritya or Lila Dhyan, meditating on the pastimes of the Lord. That one becomes so absorbed in remembrance of the pastimes of the Lord that one becomes ecstatically lost. Lord Chaitanya heard, he liked to hear the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj. And the devotees were telling him the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj from the beginning till the end. And when it was finished, then he said, start again. But, so Lord Chaitanya wanted to hear the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj hundreds of times again and again. Here it is, yeah. And then there's Seva Dhyan. Of course, a good example of Seva Dhyan, Hanuman, always absorbed in Seva. That if we can become absorbed in Seva with devotion, that's also meditation. To that absorption, we can connect with Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada translated bhakti not just as devotion, but devotional service. And the last one is manasa puja. So we will read the story here now at the end of this chapter of this Brahman who performed manasa puja, that is from the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. But this manasa puja you can only do when you are not able to do it physically. Although in deity worship, that we have, we do also manasa puja, worship in the mind with 16 articles, that before the real worship, to train the mind, that and we meditate on Lord Gauranga and the spiritual master sitting beside him before we worship Gauranitai. Several prescriptions for deity work if we follow the complete procedure that Brahmins know that and it becomes, absorption becomes so nice. And that so we will read this story now of this Brahman who was meditating, doing puja in his mind. He was cooking in his mind, making preparations. That so Srila Prabhupada writes, in some of the Puranas, the evidence is given that if someone is simply meditating on devotional service, he has achieved the desired result and has seen face to face the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this connection, there is a story of the Brahma Vaivarta Purana that in the city of Pratishthanapur in South India, there was once a Brahman who was not very well to do, but who was nevertheless satisfied in himself, thinking that it was because of his past misdeeds that the desire of Krishna, and by the desire of Krishna, that he did not get sufficient money and opulence. So he was not at all sorry for his poor material position, and he used to live very peacefully. He was very open-hearted, and sometimes he went to hear some lectures delivered by great realized souls. At one such meeting, while he was very faithfully hearing about Vaishnava activities, he was informed that these activities can be performed even by meditation. In other words, if a person is unable to actually perform activities physically, he can meditate upon their activities and thereby acquire all the same results. Because the Brahman was not very well to do financially, he decided that he would simply meditate on grand royal devotional activities, and he began his business thus. I want to make a side comment on that we know for deity worship, one must be Brahman initiated. A Brahman must control his mind and senses and is supposed to be peaceful in the mode of goodness. You're in the mode of goodness, you can meditate. If you offer an article to the deities, incense, then you offer it to the deity and you say the mantras in Sanskrit and combined with the mantra for the deity, that is an offering, but at the same time, if you do that automatically and your mind is somewhere else, then you are not doing puja. Puja is done with your consciousness. Your consciousness should be there. You are the consciousness. If you are your consciousness somewhere else, you are not there in the puja. So one must control one's mind when one does that. Also, Brahmins, they get a Gayatri mantra, that is a meditation. If you don't have the capability to meditate, it will not work. It's not just saying the mantras, it's absorption in the mantras. And Galdi, the meaning is revealed. So let's continue and hear from this Brahmin who have heard about this meditation, that one can just meditate. Sometimes he would take his bath in the river Godavari. After taking his bath, he would sit in a secluded place on the bank of the river. And by practicing the yoga exercises of pranayama, the usual breathing exercises, he would concentrate his mind. You see this young kirtanir on the screen. That he's quite young, but you can see his mind is fixed on something. He's absorbed in something. The children can become fixed on something, and they are, yes, but of course, that absorption is required. So it does pranayama. Also, Rupa Goswami said it's good to do pranayama before you chant the Gayatri. Breathing exercises makes you more peaceful. The breathing exercises are meant to mechanically fix the mind upon a particular subject. That is a result of the breathing exercise and also of the different sitting postures of yoga. Formerly, even quite ordinary persons used to know how to fix the mind upon the remembrance of the Lord, so the Brahman was doing this. When he had fixed the form of the Lord in his mind, he began to imagine in his meditation that he was dressing the Lord very nicely in costly clothing with ornaments, elements, and other paraphernalia. Then he offered his respectful obeisances by bowing down before the Lord, all in his mind. After finishing dressing, he began to imagine that he was cleaning the temple very nicely. After cleansing the temple, he imagined that he had many water jugs made of gold and silver, and he took all those jugs to the river and filled them with the holy water. Not only did he collect water from the Godavari, but he collected from the Ganges, Yamuna, Narmada, and Kaveri. Generally, a Vaishnava, while worshipping the Lord, collects waters from all these rivers by the mantra chanting. So, when we offer water to the deities, the pujari put his finger on top of the water without touching the water with the nails, and then says a mantra, Ganga Sayamuna. Well, Brahmins know that mantra, that turns the water into Ganga mud water and all the water of all these holy rivers combined. Generally, a Vaishnava, while worship, the Lord collects water from all these rivers by mantra chanting. This Brahmin, instead of chanting some mantra, imagined that he was physically securing water from all these rivers in golden and silver water pots. Then he collected all paraphernalia for worship, flowers, fruits, incense, sandal, and sandalwood pulp. He collected everything to place before the deity. All these waters, flowers, and scented articles were there nicely offered to the deities to their satisfaction. Then he offered arti, and with the regulative principles, he finished all these activities in the correct worshipping method. So what the puja externally does, he does completely in his mind. That's also accepted in the Lord as the accepted as devotional service by the Lord. But if we cannot, we do it only when we are not physically able to do it. So he would daily execute similar performances as his routine work. And he continued to do so for many, many years. Then one day, the Brahmin imagined in his meditations that he had prepared some sweet rice with milk and sugar and offered the preparation to the deity. However, he was not very satisfied with the offering because the sweet rice had been prepared recently and it was still very hot. This preparation sweet rice should not be taken hot. The cooler the sweet rice, the better the taste. So because the sweet rice had been prepared by the Brahmin very recently, he wanted to touch it so that he could know whether it was fit for eating by the Lord. As soon as he touched the sweet rice pot with his finger, he immediately was burned by the heat of the pot. So you see it on the picture. He was a bit surprised that in this way, his meditation broke. Now, when he looked at his finger, he saw that it was burnt, and he was wondering in astonishment how this could have happened. Because he was simply meditating on touching the hot, sweet rice. He never thought that his finger would actually become burnt. While he was thinking like this, in Vaikuntha, Lord Narayan, seated with the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, began to smile humorously. On seeing the smiling of the Lord, all the goddess of fortune attending the Lord became very curious and asked the Lord Narayan why he was smiling. The Lord, however, did not reply to their inquisitiveness, but instead immediately sent for the Brahman. An airplane sent from Vaikuntha immediately brought the Brahman into the Lord Narayan's presence. When the Brahman was just present before the Lord and the goddess of fortune, the Lord explained the whole story. The Brahman was then fortunate enough to get an eternal place in Vaikuntha in the association of the Lord and his Lakshmis. This shows how the Lord is all-pervading in spite of being locally situated in his abode. Although the Lord was present in Vaikuntha, that he was present also in the heart of the Brahman when he was meditating on the worshipping process. Thus, we can understand that things offered by the devotees, even in meditation, are accepted by the Lord, and they help one to achieve the desired result. So, this is the chapter on techniques of hearing and remembering of the Lord. Any questions, please? Mm-hmm. So I hope it was useful for you, and we will continue on Friday. I think, yeah, Friday evening with chapter 11. There's more items of the 64 items of devotional service. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna
Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Jai.